So last night I stayed up to watch The Matrix Resurrections, aka The Matrix 4. And I can honestly see why the movie has mixed reviews, okay? It's not a good movie in my opinion. It's not a good movie. I really tried to let the positives shine through or, overlook the negatives, but the negatives kept piling on more than the positives. And one of the negatives I had an issue with this movie was the fact that the fighting is fucking cringy. It's like they try to pay homage to the past films by having some of the actors and actresses do moves and stuff that pays homage to the old films, but it's like they were botching moves. Like when somebody was getting hit, it looked like they were hitting the air and the person was jumping back. It just looked shitty. It looked bad. And I'm like, it just doesn't flow nowhere near as good as the old films. And it's been so long since I watched the old films, I don't remember exactly why everybody doesn't like the older movies, at least the second and third film. But I know the first film everybody considers a masterpiece. But it's like, this movie just doesn't do the Matrix series justice. It's terrible. It's shitty. The fighting is whack. The story basically follows Neo and Trinity, basically trying to get them back together to save the world that they live in again. And yeah, they died in the last film, but then the Matrix or the machines were able to bring them back, and they used them as like the main source, I guess, of energy or power or some shit like that. And so the analyst, I believe is what the person's called, that's kind of pulling the strings here, aka Neil Patrick Harris, is basically telling Neo, like, look, if you want to see Trinity again, you put yourself back in the box again, and we still run shit like we have been, or she dies again. So it's up to you. It's your choice. And there's certain times in the movie where the fighting happens, and or the dialogue happens, and you'll see like a clip or something from the old Matrix movie, like it's paying homage to that moment. And give me a second here. And it's cool and all, it looks good, but it's like this movie just doesn't do it for me. It's not good. The fighting looks so bad. The story is okay, but honestly, it's like, it's just not it. And then, I think I said you already have characters in this movie that aren't played by the people that played them before. Like Lawrence Fishburne, he's not in this movie. He's seen the movie in old clips, but he's not actually played in this movie. Morpheus is played by I can't think of the guy's name. I'm sorry, I can't think of his name. But the guy he's played by, he plays like a younger, more kind of cool, hip version of Morpheus. But his character, he's just not really Morpheus to me in the whole 100%. At least the way Morpheus acts, where he's real serious, and he's this man against machine kind of character. You know what I'm saying? And this guy isn't it. And then you got Agent Smith played by somebody else, and it's just like these characters, they could have just made these characters new fucking characters. They didn't have to make these people the same characters that were already in the movie, but just, make them different people, make them look new on the outside. Neil Patrick Harris was a positive as the villain. He was like this smug, fucking just cocky, talking shit character. There's a moment where he ends up using like Neo's special ability or something like that, where he's able to like slow down time. So Neo is like literally moving in real slow motion, and Neil Patrick Harris, the analyst, is over there talking shit to him. But the way that it looks, the way that they shot it, it looks so fucking shitty, and it just doesn't look good. They used that special effect a couple of times, and it doesn't look good. And then like Agent Smith, his character, he's barely used in this movie. Like in the beginning, you see him because when Neo was in the Matrix, he doesn't realize anything from his old past. He's basically just this video game maker that works at this company, and Agent Smith is basically the owner of the company, but neither one of them know anything from their past. And it's like it just doesn't flow the same. This movie just doesn't hit the same as it used to. It just doesn't work for me, and it's a real disappointment because I wanted this movie to be good. And after I finished it, it made me. I sat there and thought to myself, "Damn, I'm glad I did not see this shit in theaters." That's how bad this movie fucking was. I'm so glad I did not see this shit in theaters because it wasn't that fucking good. Honestly, to give y'all my score, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It's pretty fucking low. They don't need a sequel to this shit. Let this shit die. I only recognize the first 3 films. This one I won't. And there is something else about these movies too. Like in the older films, when they were in the Matrix, it kind of had like this. If this makes sense, it had kind of like this green hue. Like everything was kind of green in the Matrix, and now everything just looks normal. I understand you want to update the movies with the times, because a lot of people who watch the movies now, at least this movie, probably won't understand anything from the past movies. But they didn't have that green hue. It was basically everything looked like normal, regular color. It wasn't that green hue. But the fighting in this movie just was so fucking cringy. I was so fucking disappointed. You got people botching fucking moves. It just looked like shit. What else did I not like about this movie? That was mostly the big thing. I didn't like the fighting. The story wasn't really all that interesting to me. I hated the fact that they gave Trinity the special powers like they gave Neo at the end of the film, because it doesn't make sense. She didn't have any of these powers for the first 3 movies, and all of a sudden she can do the same shit that Neo does. And it doesn't make fucking sense to me at all. I wanted to keep this. This is more of a rant than it is a fucking review, because I didn't like this movie at all. A 6 out of fucking 10 is what I'm giving this fucking shitty film. Do not make a sequel. I don't think it will. It got a lot of mixed reviews. I can understand why now. I'm trying to think of some of the positives. I like the fact that they didn't give Neo all his powers. Like he just came back and was kicking ass like he used to. Even new Agent Smith recognized that he wasn't who he used to be. And that was probably my only really good positive. That and Neil Patrick Harris being the villain were my only 2 positives. That's it. Everything else I didn't like. I didn't like new Smith. Morpheus was okay, but he was like, I don't know, it was just different. The movie was, the whole vibe was different. And this movie takes place 60 years after the last film. So all these new characters, at least this captain on the ship, Bugs, I almost forgot about her. She's also a main character. She's trying to find Neo, I guess, to help save the world again. And she, everybody basically believed that Neo was dead, but I guess she was locked in the Matrix until she saw him jumping off a building one day, and she kind of found her purpose, which is basically trying to find him to help save the world. And her character, I mean, she's cool, but her ship crewmates suck. They're not interesting. They don't matter. They're just there to push the story along. If they were not in this movie, it would not have fucking mattered to me at all. What else about this fucking film didn't I like? So Niobe is back. I forgot. She's like a really high commander or captain of like Low. She's pretty much the president of Low, which is where they live. It's not Zion anymore. I guess Zion came to an end after like the machines made some type of treaty with the humans or some shit. And yeah, so Zion is no more. And from what it looks like, real Morpheus got killed off screen at some point. And yeah, I'm hoping that's not the case if they do decide to make a sequel, which I don't think this movie deserves a sequel. But yeah, I know what I read online. Lawrence Fishburne said that he didn't get called to come back. Hugo Weaver, who was old Agent Smith, he was busy, I think, with another movie, so it was conflicting schedules, so he couldn't come back. This movie just shouldn't have came out. Or they should have just waited and really got a good story until they pushed the movie out to the public. Because it was like so much, I wouldn't even say hype, but it was just so much like marketing. You saw this shit everywhere. The trailer looked, well, confusing, but some places good. And the movie just wasn't good at all. And the movie ends with Neo and Trinity going to see the analyst and basically telling the analyst, look, we're going to remake the Matrix in the way that we want it. And they ended up just like flying off into the sunset. As far as Agent Smith, He was like, he was there for a minute. He was this guy, and then all of a sudden, when he decides to dip out, he automatically just like just changes. He automatically like releases the. I don't know what the fuck he did. He basically just changed into somebody else and like dipped out, and that was it. But I just found this movie to be really boring. It wasn't good. 6 out of 10. It wouldn't surprise me if they wouldn't give this movie a sequel. I don't know if Carrie-Anne Moss seems interested enough to come back. It's just not the fucking same as the old movies. It's not. And honestly, I'm not missing. I don't care if they do give this movie a sequel. I don't. Well, that's really all I got for this fucking review. Let me know at the end of the film what you all think. And let me know if I missed anything. Leave it in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm Big O, and it's the Big O Show. Let's get this channel to 200 subscribers. Keep hitting the like button. Keep subscribing. Keep sharing this with your friends and family. Big O Show, I'm out. Peace.